In this video, you're going to see how you can make these 3 vintage cake designs using buttercream and basic piping skills. Welcome to Cakes with Lorelei. I teamed up with Katie Severin over at Baking Butterly Love to bring you even more tips on how to make vintage cakes. Here's Katie's gorgeous cake, and here's Katie.
Hi, I'm Katie, and I make cake decorating tutorials over on my YouTube channel, Baking Butterly Love, and I'm really excited for our vintage cake decorating collaboration.
The link to Katie's video at Baking Butterly Love is at the end of this video. We'll start with a half cake design. Pick your color palette. I chose black for the plate, gray, pink, and cream colored buttercream. Half of a chocolate buttermilk cake with espresso chocolate mousse. The buttercream I use is Italian meringue, and the link is below. All the links that go with this video will be below the video, and some of them will be at the end of the video. Start with a crumb coat. This seals in the loose crumbs. Then a finishing coat. So books can be used to raise your cake up to eye level. I highly recommend doing this. For the lace, I used a number 1 round, but I would recommend a number 2. It's a little easier on the hands and the wrists. This is a pretty easy technique, although it can be a little time consuming. The trick is not to overlap the lines. This looks really pretty with white over a colored buttercream cake. You can even do this on a fondant cake. Pearls are so perfect for a vintage look. For this part here, I'm using a 352 leaf, and it makes an easy ruffle. A medium star tip is perfect for creating a reverse scroll border. Roses couldn't be more perfect for a vintage cake. Royal icing leaves come in really handy. I happen to have some laying around, so I use those, but you can pipe them with buttercream. It can be tricky to get your flowers to stick, so in that case you want to use a little dab of buttercream. Because I make a lot of cakes, I have a lot of extra stuff laying around, which makes it a lot easier. So if you have extra stuff Whenever you're decorating, just create some extras and have them in a container ready to go. For the second cake, I used black, pink, cream, and a touch of green. It makes for a really whimsical look. The black is so intense that it needed lots of detail with the cream. This is one way to mark your cakes. Use a small star. This is a 15. Let the icing build up, then pull the tip down as you release the pressure to form a tail. These are called fleur-de-lis. For the basket, use the same star tip. For the drop strings, you can use a 2 or a 3 round. You could do pearls instead if you're not quite ready for the drop strings. A 103 or a 104 petal is used to create the ruffles. Place the wide end down, and the thinner edge creates the fine ruffle. These are reverse scrolls, but you can do regular shells if you want. A leaf 352 is used to add another element and to cover the raw edges of the strings. Then you can pipe tiny petals or swirls. Add a few green leaves for more pops of color. And the top is just scrolls. Dots finish off this cake really nicely with a 2 or a 3. Top it with fresh flowers and or herbs, and you have yourself a beautiful vintage cake design. The square cake is the most basic and easy to accomplish. Again, it's a star tip. Simply zigzag your tip as you move left to right with a dip to create a garland. Begin with less pressure, increasing the pressure as you move to the center of the garland, then less pressure as you bring it to a close. I did this by eye, but you can mark it first. I believe Katie shares how to do that in her video. A simple shell border on the bottom and the top, and then up the sides. This is called ballooning. It's very similar to the garland, and it creates a little more interest. You can use a 352 to create a garland as well. And you can also add some around the bottom of the border. A small round tip can be used to make a pearl garland, which is much easier than drop strings. A 1M makes perfect swirls for your finishing touches like raspberries or strawberries. I hope you got some good ideas from watching this video, and don't forget to check out Baking Butterly Love and her tips on how to create vintage cakes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.